2 family members came to the hospital and told me that's not my kid.
Which family members of whom? Her family members, yours?
Hers.
Hers? Who?
Your mother.
Were you sending naked pictures to your ex while you were living in his house and saying he was your boyfriend?
I was. They had broken up. In 2 weeks, she was gone. And the next week, she came back to your honor. And now they're telling me that she was pregnant. And you want me to say, well, okay?
Ms. Henny cheated on her partner, Mr. Phi, with his childhood best friend. And now Mr. Phi wants to know if the 2 children he had with Ms. Henny belongs to him or belongs to his brother from another mother. Of course, this has traumatized Mr. Phi endlessly, and you can see the trauma in his face as he talks about it.
Your Honor, these kids, they call me daddy every day. Kind of hurts me because as they got older, kids don't look like me.
They do look exactly like
They don't look like me. I mean, Nathan, he's got different futures than what I have. And, you know, little Sammy, he kind of looks more like Nathan too. They both look alike. And, you know, little Sammy's got my full name, except for he's the 4th. And I don't think it's right.
Wow, that is very painful. And then Mr. Phi explains how his partner, Ms. Henny, cheated on him with his friend just because he was gone for 45 days. Can you imagine the anguish this poor man must be feeling right now?
People, even friends, told me that she was messing around with a guy from the neighborhood.
We were not messing around.
That's not what my friends told me. But when I confronted the gentleman about it, he came, you know, I was on the phone with him, and he told me they did mess around twice. Well, when I confronted her about it, she denied it. So I had him on the cell phone. And then when I confronted her with the cell phone with him on it, she started crying, and then she admitted to me she cheated on me once.
So yes, Ms. Henny admitted to cheating on her boyfriend, but that is not where it ended. She also says it only happened about 2 months before she got pregnant. But would you believe her? Would you believe anything a cheating partner told you? Mr. Phi clearly does not believe that, and he has his reasons.
Mr. Phi, you don't seem to be buying that.
No, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I've caught recent text messages in her phone of her talking to her ex-boyfriends. And, you know, we've been together for 6 years on and off. And every time we've split up, we wasn't even split up a week or 2, and she was already messing around with some other guy.
All right, so you have doubts surrounding both children.
Those sound like good reasons for doubting if your kids are really yours. But then Mr. Phi decides to become a physiognomy expert and starts measuring skulls to explain why he thinks Ms. Henny's children are not his, which made him sound like a certain mustached German.
I have an oval-shaped head, okay, Your Honor? My ears are close to my head. He has a block head. I mean, his ears have a dip in them. I don't have none of them.
I'm sorry, but I have dips in my ears. He has my ears.
I don't have big ears like he does. His sticks out more, and he has that block head. I don't have a block head. Mine's more of an oval shape.
So you're saying your head is an oval shape?
Yes, Your Honor.
Looks like Judge Lauren Lake is not buying that either. Anyway, let the judge ask the real question that has been on everyone's mind since this case started. And it is simple.
Ms. Henny, how did you end up sleeping with your boyfriend's close friend?
Our kids hung out. When he went away for that 45 days, we were hanging out with our kids, and it didn't start out that way, but it's just one thing led to another, and
45 days is only a month and a half.
yeah.
So were you all in a good relationship when he went away?
I mean, not really.
Exactly right, Judge. Exactly right. If it takes just 45 days of being apart from your woman for her to jump in another person's bed, then you have got something else coming. So let us ask another burning question.
This friend was over with the kids, one thing led to another. You say you slept with him. How many times?
Once.
He told me twice.
He confessed this to you?
Yes, Your Honor. I suspected them messing around because I was gone, and him and his girlfriend had split up right before I left too. But when I asked her, she told me, oh, I went over and set up a play date. I told her I didn't know setting up a play date is what you guys call it nowadays.
Well, that is some play date, you'd say. Anyway, Mr. Phi says he believes that his friend Nadahan is the father of both children and that Ms. Henny slept with this friend multiple times to make both babies. That is insane, but Ms. Henny denies it. However, Mr. Phi has evidence.
And why do you know she's lying?
Because, I mean, the guy told me he messed around with her twice already.
Because he said twice. You think it's...
And I mean, he's never lied to me in the past before. And then when I was, you know, when we split up, that's who she ran back to. 3 weeks after him and her, you know, got done, me and her got back together, and that's when she said she was pregnant with Sammy.
There was like a 2-month difference between any pregnancy and me cheating on him.
Ms. Henny insists that Mr. Phi is the father, but Mr. Phi is not buying that story at all. Ms. Henny also has her evidence that the kids belong to Mr. Phi, and you could never guess what that evidence is.
I have their birth certificates that he signed.
I'd like to see those. Jerome?
She cheated on me 4 times, Your
It was
Honor.
not 4 times, it was 1
4
time.
times?
4 times.
1 time.
So these are the birth certificates for the children. The first, Nathan James Phi. Father's name, Samuel John Phi III. The second child, Samuel John Phi IV, father Samuel John Phi III.
Really? 4 times? Really? And a birth certificate cannot be evidence that a man is the biological father of a child when there is a credible paternity doubt. So Ms. Henny is just flat out wrong on this one. Anyway, let us get to the bottom of this case and find out if Mr. Phi is really the father of both of these kids.
Mr. Phi, you are the father.
Who does it look like who?
Mr. Phi, you are the father.
Change what name?
Did you have sexual intercourse with anyone other? You said no. The lie detector determined that you were being truthful.
Ms. James says that she asked Mrs. Beversdorf to take a DNA test 3 times to prove that she is the mother of her deceased son's Darley's child, but Ms. Bevsdorf refused. Therefore, she is certain that Mrs. Beversdorf is a liar and that Dakari is not really her grandchild. Of course, this denial has affected Ms. Beversdorf a lot.
They don't accept him, they don't accept me. I'm just ready for him to have acceptance, love. I want it to be real, not fake. I want him to, you know what I'm saying, just feel like that's all family. Everybody's family, not just my side, not just their side. I want it to be genuine, and I just know once I get these test results, it will be genuine, and everybody will really know the truth. I want him to know and to really have proof that that is his father. I'd never want him to doubt that.
Okay, Ms. James, let us hear from you. Ms. James insists that Ms. Beversdorf was always fighting with her son, and they were always breaking up, and she constantly saw other people outside of her son. But Ms. Beversdorf argues that this was a lie.
I've never been seen with anybody else. I've never been with anybody else.
You haven't been seen with anybody else, but when you were living in the house with us, you were gone. You're gone 2 weeks, and I'm like, where's Kayla?
No,
like,
I was gone 2 weeks.
Where?
With my
someone
sister,
else?
at my sister's house.
And when my
Wasn't with
son came
anybody
to
else.
your house, she came outside to talk to him, but she wouldn't let him in the house, and she made him leave.
Wow. Okay, Ms. Beversdorf says that she dated Daryl for 4.5 years before having his baby, but Ms. James here insists that something like that never happened. You kind of get the feeling that Ms. James here really does not like Ms. Beversdorf. Here is how she says she found out that Ms. Beversdorf was even pregnant.
They had broken up, and 2 weeks she was gone, and then she came back the next week, and
I was
her
already
and my
pregnant,
son,
Your Honor. I was already
and the
pregnant.
next week she came back, Your Honor, and now they're telling me that she was pregnant. And you want me to say, well, okay?
I was already pregnant when me and him split up for the 2 weeks.
But I mean, respectfully, how does Ms. James know that?
She leaves for a couple of weeks, come back and telling me she's pregnant.
Oh. Okay then, moving on. Ms. Beversdorf says that Daryl always believed that the child was his, but Ms. James disputes this because somehow Daryl did not sign the birth certificate with his name on it. If he truly believed the child was his, would that happen? Really? This is getting really confusing. And here is what Ms. James thinks.
You missed the birth certificate signing, but she's gonna come back to our room for you to sign it. He said, okay. By that time, we were so excited bringing in the new baby, we didn't even remember about the birth certificate.
I asked him prior, almost 2 weeks to him dying, to sign that birth certificate because
She didn't know when he was gonna die.
I didn't.
She did not know.
I'm just saying. I wanted,
So
and
2
you know
weeks
that I
prior,
told
that
him.
Well, that is not a great sight. Imagine the young boy at the center of all this, growing up and watching his mother argue with his potential grandmother this way. Anyway, the point of the argument is that Daryl expressed doubts that the child was his. And then Ms. James drops a bomb on the court by saying this.
For the simple fact of now I have tried to get DNA 3 times.
She never tried 3 times.
Yes, I have, Your Honor. You know why she don't know
She
about 3
never
times?
tried to get no DNA
because she
test.
never shows up.
She never
What
met me
happened?
nowhere. We never even had that as
I didn't have to meet you nowhere.
She
I
never
told you
called.
where the
She never
place
said
was.
anything.
Ms. James, take me through each time.
If this is true, then it becomes super likely that the baby does not belong to Daryl and instead belongs to another man. Because think about it, why would he refuse to sign the birth certificate? Absolutely no reason. Anyway, Judge Lauren wants to know about these 3 times, and Ms. James is very happy to spill.
The first time that I recall telling Kayla about getting the DNA, my son had crossed over. He had died. In the process of him dying, Your Honor, 2 weeks, I told her to go get his Social Security. We went down there. They told us we needed a DNA so that we can prove that he was his because he didn't sign the birth certificate.
Ms. Beversdorf denies that this happened and says that if she denied the DNA test, why would she come to paternity court then? And that is a great question, except for the tiny fact that liars come to paternity court all the time. Then both women start arguing and screaming at each other again.
When are you all coming home?
They were never supposed to go to Omaha. They were supposed to go to
But you knew
St.
I wanted to
Louis,
go see my
Missouri.
brother.
They were never supposed to go to
So, Your
Omaha.
Honor?
She kept my son for like 2.5 weeks.
I surely did.
On that Sunday,
I surely did,
that
Your
she
Honor.
brought him. Either
I
she was
surely
going to
did.
bring me my child Sunday, or I was going to call.
You did call the police on us. us.
No, I didn't. You don't even have a case. If I would have called the police, you would have a case against you.
No matter how you look at it, all of this is just nasty. And somehow, it even gets worse because believe it or not, these women live in the same house. That is right, the same house. And here is how Ms. James explains it.
She lives with me in my home. And when she came in the
She lives with you now? Whoa!
Temporarily.
Miss James, why did you take Miss Beaversdorf in if you don't believe Dakari is your son's biological child?
by God's law.
It don't have nothing to do with that.
Wow, let us get down to it and figure out the truth. Is Daryl the father or someone else? Let us see what the DNA test has to say about this absolutely insane case. Who is the real father? Judge Lauren has an answer.
The percentage of relatedness between Mrs. Jacqueline James and Dakari is 99%. You are related.
I'm sorry, Kayla. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mr. Jalek caught Ms. Tillis sending naked pictures to other men while they were together, so he is absolutely certain that he is not the father of her child. Asides that, he also has medical evidence proving that the child is not his. In the meantime, Mr. Jalek has abandoned the child and done nothing for him. Here is how Ms. Tillis says it.
The day my son was born, he has done nothing for my child.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
Not a dollar?
Not a dollar.
Tell the court what that has been like for you.
I'm struggling. I have to do it all by myself. I'm not working right now.
So precious. Miss Tillis, I know this has been difficult. I can only imagine. I'm a mother. 2 months in, you are still dealing with postpartum issues.
This sounds sad, but Mr. Jalek does not really care. To him, this child is not his, and he refuses to do anything for the child. He says he does not want to take up another man's responsibilities.
Mr. Jalek, did you turn your back on the baby?
No, Your Honor. Basically, we had a conversation, and like I told her, I refused to take up the next man's slack for a child that's not mine. We wasn't even having relations when she got pregnant.
So, what was the nature of your relationship?
We were having sex because we got history.
Apparently, Mr. Jalek was only sleeping with Ms. Tillis. And as we all know, once you are only sleeping with someone, it is against the law for that person to get pregnant. Great argument, Mr. Jalek. Ms. Tillis used to braid our man's hair, and Mr. Jalek used to sleep with her. It was simply braiding with benefits. That is literally what they called it.
So this started a committed relationship? You met?
I thought it was a committed
Did you date, or you just braided his hair and then decided I'm moving in?
Thank you. Braiding with benefits.
So obviously,
it's not
you
like
all had a relationship. If she was over there all the time, Mr. Jalek.
We had a
Your Honor.
situationship. The situation was she was the in-house braider, but at the same time, even back then.
And now they have to negotiate the potential result of that braiding with benefits in paternity court. This went on for 2 whole years, by the way. Anyway, Mr. Jalek gets to the point of why he thinks this baby does not belong to him, and it is bonkers.
Why am I looking at your phone and you got nude pictures going to your ex?
Miss
That's why I feel-
Tillis, were you sending naked pictures to your ex while you were living in his house and saying he was your boyfriend? She was also having sex with someone else during the window of time that Jaden's was conceived.
It's very possible, Your Honor, because I said we've been doing this off and on since 2011.
So there are 2 issues. First, why is Mr. Jalek angry that his braider with benefits is also giving some other chap benefits? And 2, so Ms. Tillis admits that she slept with another man while she was in this situationship? What? Anyway, Ms. Tillis clarifies that point for us.
During the window of time when Jaden's was conceived, were you all intimate during that time?
Yes, this is
No.
the time where we were working together. We
No.
were on and off.
So you and your ex rekindled your relationship or friendship, whatever it was,
It was a friendship. We weren't never.
but you started having sex with him as well.
Yes, but it was just one time, and we used protection.
So say.
Well, that is a very weird sort of friendship, wouldn't you say? I don't know about you, but Ms. Tillis is not looking good here at all. But Mr. Jalek has even more evidence to prove that he isn't this baby's father. And it is the strangest sort of evidence we have ever seen on paternity court.
My father, myself, and my 3 sons all have what the old folk call a wisdom hole in our right ear at the top. We're born with it. It's a handsome child that she has, but he doesn't have the trait that me, my father, nor my sons have.
It's a pre-auricular sinus. Pre-auricular sinuses in the United States is estimated to be 0 to 0.9%.
And then we get a shocking confession from Ms. Tillis. She once insisted that Mr. Jalek is the only possibility, but now it seems like there could be at least one more possibility. Here is how she puts it.
So you did mess with the other guy end of October?
Yes.
So why, when I asked you, did you think he was a possibility, you said no?
Because we used protection. It wasn't, I messed with him in October too. The beginning of February.
And the first conception date they gave you was October 25th.
Yeah, but she wasn't accurate because she didn't know. I asked her, do she know when I conceived?
Okay, that is a bit confusing. The DNA test is the only thing that can bring this case to an end and tell us for certain if the father of this child is Mr. Jalick. And it is time for Judge Lauren to read that test out for us.
Mr. Jalick, you are the father. How does that make you feel, Miss Tillis?
I'm happy.
Are you?
But I'm emotional at the same time because I went through a lot when I was pregnant.
We could tell.
I apologize.
Ms. Hernandez is in her mid-30s and she loves sleeping with younger men. Today she has dragged one of her younger lovers, who she got married to court to make him take responsibility for her 3-year-old daughter. But this man says that he knows for a fact that Ms. Hernandez was sleeping with another younger man who is his friend, so he cannot be the child's father, and he is also here in court with his girlfriend. Here is their opening interaction.
But you do not believe this is your biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
Look at her. Look at your 3-year-old daughter that you haven't been there in 3 years.
All right, so pretty much this child is being at least emotionally abandoned. There's some need that she's calling out for and she's getting no response.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, in the court papers, you say you thought you met the man of your dreams. He was a younger man, but you thought he was the man of your dreams.
That is so sad. So here's the thing. Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez once had a great relationship and loved each other very much. But very soon, things started falling apart in the weirdest ways. Here is how it all went wrong.
I kicked him out after we had a big argument, and then 2 days later, I told him that I was pregnant with my daughter.
Mr. Hernandez, what is your account?
When we first got together, before she got pregnant, before I found out she was pregnant, I was gone for 2 weeks.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez says that something else happened. He says when he heard that Ms. Hernandez was pregnant, he was told something else that made him start doubting if she was really pregnant with his baby.
I was told that her ex was in the bed.
Someone told you her ex was in your bed?
Yes.
Who? While you're out fishing?
Yes.
Who told you that?
A family member.
A family member of yours or hers?
Mine.
How would they know who I had in my bed?
They seen him.
Yeah, coming out of the house because you and him are friends.
And
you know
that's not
everything.
Her. That's not him.
You know that he was at my house.
It is
even
not
when
him.
you were
I'm
there
not talking
too.
about him.
Basically, Mr. Hernandez is friends with Ms. Hernandez's ex and believes that he is the father of the baby because he slept with Ms. Hernandez while he was away. And he has one more jaw-dropping point to make.
Ms. Hernandez was sleeping with her ex while you were out on this fishing boat.
Yes. And she's even told me when we were separated from the house that she had her ex in the bed.
Nope, that was
She admitted she had her ex in the bed?
Yes, Your Honor. On the phone, she told me that her ex was in the bed.
No.
Wow. Ms. Hernandez says that this ex only comes to her house to speak with her mother, which makes things more weird and not less weird. And this happened throughout their relationship. Gosh. Anyway, Ms. Hernandez sheds more light on this weird relationship she has going on.
This ex is coming in and out of your house frequently, but you say it's to visit your mother.
To visit my mother, yes. Because my mother is like his mother. So, and my ex is young.
You like him young, huh?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
I know that's right. Say it loud and say it proud.
Wow, she really likes them young. Ms. Hernandez says that Mr. Hernandez was really happy about the pregnancy at first, but he changed his mind after the baby was born. And Mr. Hernandez says he has a really good reason for that.
I was happy at first, but then after the pregnancy at the hospital, that is when everything
After
changed.
the birth at the hospital?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened at the birth?
2 family members came to the hospital and told me that's not my kid.
Two family members of whom? Her family members, yours?
Hers.
Hers?
Who?
Your mother.
Your mom? Oh, wait.
Because my mama doesn't like you.
Well, if your wife's mother tells you that the child your wife just had is not yours, you would be right to start thinking that maybe the child is not actually really yours. But Ms. Hernandez says this is a total lie. The fact that Ms. Hernandez also did not give the baby Mr. Hernandez's last name made him doubt that the child was his.
He wanted me to name her his last name. I didn't want to. Just in case something like this happened, he denied her.
There you go.
So, Mr. Hernandez, you believe she kept your name off that birth certificate because she knew you weren't the biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, now that is just weird. Anyway, the results are in, and it is time to see who has been telling the truth. Mr. Hernandez or Ms. Hernandez? Let us find out who the father of this beautiful 3-year-old is.
Mr. Hernandez, you are the father.
Told you.
Do you feel a level of remorse and regret because you've pretty much
Yes.
missed 3 years of her life?
Yes.
She's talking She knows her colors.
And you never called me?
I'm not calling you.
No, we're not doing this. What you're not gonna do is do this.